Hello, my kits and cats Facebook. It is the Cocktail Social. I did not know what type of applause that was, but I thought that was that. It sounded like rattling papers for a minute.
Because it wasn't the applause. They just went off.
Oh,
we gotta have a fight every.
Oh my! First of all, that is a horrible. I mean, I need a buzz or something because those applauses are shut the hell up. Yeah, I need. Hello, my kits and cats in Facebook world. It is me, Blue Waters, the host of the Cocktail Social, and these are my socialites. And this is another Cocktail Social hour. I hope that you have grabbed your cocktails. I have mine. I have two actually, because it's been that type of week. I need 2 drinks right now. And look, I am depending on my socialites to hold me over the day because, woo, it's been one of those days. It's been one of those days. So I found out one of my clients, in my job, somebody was exposed to the COVID-19.
Oh no!
Oh yes.
Coronavirus.
Now, first of all, I'm from the old school where when you say somebody got something, you start looking for bleach and water. You don't go get alcohol. You don't go get Lysol. You get bleach and water. And so when they told me, and then I'm from the real old school. I exclude the water. I just bleach down. So now I'm over here smelling like
lungs burning.
I have bleach fumes in my system because let me tell you,
that take a minute to let that loose.
I wash down the walls. I wash down everything, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I done turned into my grandmother. Because she swore for God that if you was on anything like drugs or you had any illness, you had something that was going to kill you and kill the rest of us. And so she sprayed down everything and probably killed us in the making. Like she was slowly killing us, but she didn't even realize it. But she was trying to help us in the meantime, in between time.
That was just
high shit in that house, just high. All type of vapors.
Let me tell you, she was the first. I mixed ammonia and bleach because of this woman. Because I was like, look, it has to be good and clean.
That's a bomb.
You want to be good and dead.
That's a gas bomb you just created.
Talking about why Blue in there passed out in the floor.
Right. Let me tell you. And at first I was thinking to myself, okay, it's cool. I've been look, it had not affected me directly. Indirectly, I've known several individuals, but when they said, oh no, there's a possibility, and then they said I had to take, so this was another test, because I don't like to take the nose test. I have not taken the nose test. I do the throat swab.
That gag is on fire. I get
everything, honey.
He going there asking.
Every so often, I had to show off my skills. The doctor almost lost the arm today.
We got us a regular sports swallow over here.
Where the fuck did she come from?
Where you at? Oh my goodness!
You gotta look at the screen.
First of all,
I ain't got my video on because I'm working right now.
Sound like she getting hot tests.
No, a dinner party, honey. I don't do those type of things. Thank you very much.
You can be on screen while you're doing your dinner party. It's a cocktail social. You ain't gotta hide unless you in there doing something.
Oh no, ain't nothing like that. I'm just in here in somebody's kitchen. I'm in somebody's house in the kitchen and whatnot.
Yeah, you in the kitchen. Take us on a tour. What they got? Go open the refrigerator. Look what they got in the refrigerator.
I can't do that. You don't get me. You don't get me.
What they got in the refrigerator?
You don't get me.
Got nothing in the refrigerator. You know how when you be like, what y'all got to eat? What you got over there to eat? I'm hungry.
Well, we made them for appetizer. They had barbecue shrimp wrapped in bacon, and then for Then they had an appetizer. Then they had salad, and then they had 2 broiled crab cakes, asparagus, and roasted potatoes. And then for dessert, they had creme brulee and cheesecake.
They bougie.
Bring me a plate.
Shoot.
Yeah, so y'all got, it never goes wrong when they say bacon and barbecue sauce. It's a party.
Right.
You said the 3 major things: bacon, barbecue, and shrimp.
Yeah.
I don't even eat bacon, but I just want to show up because I know that the other stuff sounds like it's going to be good. And I might sneak some bacon because I haven't had it in so long. And it's Corona. Look, it's 2020.
Real bacon and so long.
In 2020, I might have to convert back to bacon.
Yeah, right. And be sick.
That's like me saying, "Oh, I'm straight."
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
Hello.
Funny.
Hello. Look. This 2020, I can be anything I want to be.
Anything. Not that.
I can be anything I set my mind to. Except for straight.
Except for that.
So tell me. So tell me what's been going on, everyone. I said I'm gonna start with you, Miss K, because I didn't see you last week. So tell me something good.
Oh, what is good? I don't have COVID.
Yay!
Amen.
Yay!
Amen.
Woo!
Won't he do it?
Won't he will?
Y'all did not sound enthusiastic. She said she did not have COVID. Y'all was like, yeah.
And it is. Not really. Things are good. I got my health. I still got a job. All my family is still here with me. Things are great.
Great.
Amen to that.
Yes.
Can't ask for anything more than that.
Yeah, and somebody gave me a dumb cane plant. I'm excited about
What's that?
What?
What is that?
Somebody's house, and you seen it's like really tall, and they gotta like add sticks and strings to hold it up. I think you have one, Mazel.
Like a corn plant? It look like corn.
Almost, kind of, sorta.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's like a corn. We call them corn plants because it like grow up like corn, like this, and then it just flops over.
Yeah, start bending and twisting, and you gotta get
It's like a corn plant.
Yeah, somebody gave me one, so I'm super excited about that. These little things make me happy. Don't judge me.
Oh shoot, I like plants. Shoot, I'd be happy to get plants as gifts. So I ain't mad with you.
If I ain't have all this pussy running around here, I'm sorry, pussy cats running around here, I would have, I would have plants, but I can't clean up after them. I'm sorry. I hope the FCC or whoever they is aren't mad at me for making that Freudian slip. I meant cats.
Yeah.
Kitty.
Put in the cat.
I want to learn that line dance so bad, but it's so complicated.
Yeah, it do look like it's complicated. I ain't that coordinated, so
It is really.
Back in my what do you call that stuff we used to do? Zumba days. We learned how to do that line dance.
You know how to do it.
I did back then. That was years and years ago.
Miss K, you know how to do it? You still remember how to do it?
I can look it up and probably learn it.
Well, shit, let's make it our business for all of us to learn that one.
All right, I'm good for a line dance, child.
I was just about to say, let's do that in our whole, because we're about to get shut down again. So I want to go down to like a park or something and learn how to do that line dance.
Which line dance? Which line dance?
I'm bringing the cats.
oh, yeah.
Because once I learned that, that's a whole nother level. Because that line dance is complicated when I saw it, but it's so smooth. I love it. And whenever they put that on at the club, I just turn all the way up. My sister, by the way, sister, happy birthday! Welcome to the 40s, my little angel.
Happy birthday!
Yeah, she's a Scorpio. It's Scorpio season, so shout out to all my Scorpions. Wait a minute. I think our president is the Scorpion.
He is.
Who that? Cotton Eye Joe.
All right, President Biden. I'm claiming him. So tell me something good, Mr. Cowser. Well,
tell me something good. I don't know. My schedule been pretty routine. I just be working, trying to create new things.
what do you feel about them opening up some of the schools? Do you think that they should do that, or do you think that they should just maintain keeping them closed?
They need to keep them closed, and these parents are blaming or saying the children are not learning. Well, they wasn't learning in the school, so being in the fucking school building not going to make it easier for them to learn. Now you see what the problem is, but I don't agree with them being opened up. I'm not going back to them. Yeah, I made that decision. Not at this moment.
Mazel, you being a parent, what do you believe about would you send your daughter back to school?
Not if I can keep her home, no.
Oh, that's right.
Now the selfish part of being a parent wants them to go back to school just so that you can, free your time up a little bit. But I wouldn't send her back to school at the rest of her health.
What is okay.
So if it means kids gonna be sick and all that, which more than likely they will, she will not be going back. And if she has the option to still learn from home, that's what she'll be doing.
Okay.
Tamika said one of her line dance friends choreographed that line dance. So I might have to go visit her, and she's gonna have to give me a one-on-one.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Tamika. Thanks for joining us. Oh, I'm gonna have to do that as myself. I wanna learn that dance so bad. From me?
From us.
From us?
Yeah.
Oh, we need to start a walk party too.
Meet in the park.
Yes, we can go out there and take over Montebello.
Okay.
What's your thing with Montebello? Oh, because it's closer to you.
Yeah, where you want me to go at Drew Hill, where they be out in the park in the cars, having social gatherings?
Isn't that lady was trying to
They be over there in Montebello.
I'm not
Space
going.
An opportunity.
No, thank you. I pass. I'll stick with what I know. Montebello is nice and scenic, and it gives me what I need.
It gives you what you need.
It gives me what I need, and it's wonderful eye candy out there. So to all of the guys that's out there that's lifting weights and doing their exercises, keep doing it during the winter, because that is motivation to us fat ladies who need to get out there and want to walk.
That's what the whole going on that.
For all the ladies, if you need any eye candy, go to Montebello, because they be out there faithfully.
I have a message. I have a message to the out of shape trainers who are out here trying to sell their services to little old victims like myself. I'ma blast you. Cause I just did like a trial run with one, and nigga, you more out of shape than me.
Pick me.
Go ahead.
What's your definition of out of shape? Like, are you talking body size because they not cut up, or you mean
no? It's not even cut up. But you decided to become a trainer because you slim and you figure like that's gonna be my quarantine job, so I'm gonna go out there and get a couple dollars from these people. But he had 3 of us show up, and it felt like we were more in shape than he was. And I was like, this is weird. I was like, nah, I'm good.
So when,
Talking about
He like, do some push-ups. Do
right.
3 more push-ups.
At first, I was like, maybe he got, a little asthma or something. But no, that nigga was.
Not a little asthma.
This nigga was out of shape. But it's cool. Just don't. You're not getting my money because I'm not gonna pay you to take the class too. I'm not doing that.
In shape while I'm getting in shape. You supposed to be training.
Want a company.
Right, exactly.
Just wanted some company.
Right, we paying for your time and shit. No, I'm good.
Well, I was honestly looking for a personal trainer because I was like, after you reach a certain age, that weight becomes stubborn to go any place. And let me tell you, after I reached, being 32, it's hard for me to be
30 what? 30 what?
There's nothing wrong with any of your mics.
So what power?
Yeah, 30.
So what power are you 32?
I said that I was 32.
So what power?
32 to the 0. I'm 32. That's all you need to know.
Oh,
So
okay.
anyway,
He's used to Mayan time.
Right. Is that new math? That's that new math?
It's short like 8 years and shit.
Right. You doing that new math. Subtract and carry. Show your work.
You cut his goddamn leg off and cut the rings in there. I bet his ass older than 32.
Oh my God.
I can't have nothing. Y'all won't let me have nothing.
Not that lie. You gonna tell that lie.
Ain't nobody with 32 got balls that long. They touching the water when he sit down on the toilet.
Wait a minute. Is that a determinant of how old you are? Is if your balls touch the water?
When that skin start losing that elasticity, the truth is being told.
They don't have no snapback.
No snapback.
Oh, see, well, I'm good. I don't have that problem because at 32, that's not the issue. All I am is a little bit fluffy around the edges. Just fluffy.
Not around the edges.
They look like old ass kiwis.
Oh, Lord.
Oh my goodness.
This is why I love y'all so much. On to the cocktail question. Who has a question? Who has a topic? Who wants to start us off?
I don't know. I'm drawing a blank today.
Oh Lord, y'all drawing blanks.
I asked a question earlier. Just because it seemed like everybody I talked to today experienced it. What was your most recent lucid dream?
So first, define what a lucid dream is.
A lucid dream is a dream in which you are experiencing the dream as if it is real. It is tactile. You experience the fear. You can touch the things. Things hurt. You feel all of this.
I dream like that all the time. But my most recent one, I had a dream that I knew I was dreaming. So yeah. So in the dream, it was a short dream, but in the dream, it was like I was coming out of a tunnel and it was a guy standing there and I was looking at him in his face and I was like, I'm dreaming. And I was like, I know I'm dreaming. I was like, I know I'm dreaming. And so when I looked up, it was like this building and it had like how they had like the digital stuff running around the top of the building. Mm-hmm. So it was a bunch of numbers. So I was trying to write the numbers down in the dream, and I was like, "Give me a piece of paper, give me a pen." And the lady was taking too long, and the dream started fading. And so as it faded out, I got like 2 numbers off of the building before I woke up.
Oh man!
But
go ahead.
What about you? What was your most lucid one, Miss Kay?
Let me see. I knew. Okay, so today I had one of those hateful lucid dreams where they call it the witch riding your back. I had one of those, and it was rough stuff. And I was always taught, like, when you have one of those dreams, you're supposed to call Jesus, but you never can.
I was about to say.
So yeah, you never can. Like I was trying to even try to trick my brain into being able to sing it, and I couldn't. And I ended up just waking up, hearing myself going, So yeah.
Do it again. What was you doing? One more time for the camera. It's a tape out there where I was doing the same thing. It's a tape out there in which I did the same thing, but it wasn't because the witch was riding my back.
No.
It wasn't a witch, but it was a bitch was riding your beat. Oh Lord. Oh Lord, no.
Well, first of all, I think with me meditating more, my dreams are becoming a lot more lucid.
Yeah.
So I experience it more in real time than before, and I'm also retaining my dreams a lot more, which scares me because it sometimes gets so real that I believe it's actually happening. So that kind of frightens me. So that has made me not meditate as much as I used to, because I do know that the dreams become very vivid for me, and like my senses, like feeling, smelling. It was a dream I had last night where I felt like I was going to the bathroom, urinating, and then poor husband had it all over his back.
You've been hosed.
That wasn't no damn dream. You were trying to piss on him for a long time.
That's funny.
Poor husband. I'll Kelly the hell out of him. I mean, it felt real. It felt real. Is that the same thing?
This grown ass man pissing on himself. He's a grown ass man pissing the bed.
But the fact that you know that you're dreaming, that doesn't like take some of the fear out of it for you.
Well, when you're having a dream, you actually don't know. I mean, for me, when it's a lucid dream, you don't believe that you're experiencing a dream because it feels real.
No, lucid dreaming is
lucid dream. Lucid dream. You know you're dreaming.
Yeah.
It's just that you can control. You can almost control what you're doing.
Yeah.
In the dream.
But then I've been peeing on him for the longest time.
I'm out of here.
That's not the same then. Well, there you have it, Facebook. You now know the difference between a lucid dream and drunken ass person. Too many cocktails mean you will get peed on.
Yeah, you taking wet dream to a whole nother level.
Mr. Gilmore, you silent over there. Are you busy, sir?
He has an lucid dream right now.
We are the dream.
Lucid dream. That means I can control some of the narrative, and I can't right now. So y'all don't want me to do that.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. That's down like it's gonna be X-rated.
Not
at all.
Or DDTs or SmackDown. Please don't be a SmackDown. Even though today I needed some, what I need to do is take a boxing class.
Yeah, I wanted to do that.
Take a boxing class. It's good cardio, and it'll get some of this aggression out, this pent up energy. Because I feel a little bit displaced, so I do need to do something. And I think that's just the effect of everything that's going on. And now that we're in holiday season, and we have to kind of sit back and not engage. Just got to find something to get that energy out. I don't even feel like I'm in a Thanksgiving mood. I can't believe it's Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And that's real.
Speaking of Thanksgiving.
I think I'm different on that one. I want to see y'all alive next year, so I'm good. I have my turkey. I'm still holler, y'all. Shit's still cool. I mean, I don't know. I think I'm just the opposite on all of that. I get that everybody's feeling like it's not the same, but yeah, it probably shouldn't be. And so I feel like I want 2021, 2022, and so forth and so on to be so much better. So if that just means I can't be like chilling with everybody and everything, that's cool for me for right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that varies. I think for introverted individuals, it's fine, because for them, that's what their comfort zone is. But for extroverted person, that means that requires them to challenge what they're used to doing. And not everyone is social at the same, not every one of us has the same need for social interaction. Some of us they don't need as much. I know I don't at times, but I do recognize that I do need to socially engage. And that's why I don't really use the phone because it's so impersonal and I don't really like it. And it's also the way that I was raised. I was raised with a close, and I wouldn't even say it's southern or country. I would just say that the background was that. But the reality is my family was just close knit. So around the holidays, even though if you were separated, we were always, this is how we touched, that's how we kept in touch with one another. We all gathered, we all brought our food, our special dishes, and that was a good time. Not so much Christmas. Christmas was more so about you being with your own families, but Thanksgiving was like where everybody just was like, look, your cousins and the new baby, new additions to the family. You saw your grannies and things like that, and it just doesn't feel that way. And I think that for individuals that need that, this is going to be one of those times where it's going to really affect them because that's not something that they're able to do. And I absolutely agree with you, Mr. Gilmore, with they have to figure out a new way of doing it, that helps them get through this moment. But it's going to be jacked up for a lot of people.
I think it's useful because in the last 2 years, I think I have a tradition that where I go over a certain house every Thanksgiving and Christmas. But last year I just set out for Thanksgiving and I just spent it with myself. I didn't really even cook like that. Maybe something to snack on throughout the day. But I think it's somewhat useful because I think we're so busy trying to always be around people and do things. We're not really understanding the energy that we're going through the rest of the year with because we have this need. And I think a lot of people throughout this pandemic had that need to be around people who they really never felt that need for. Mm-hmm. And a lot of stuff is happening because we're not paying attention to just sitting still and just taking the time. Like it's not gonna kill you to, be on your own or just be in your home or, with one or two other people, but just be still for a second. Like just
get peace that be still.
I'm a complete extrovert, but I'd rather join together at next Thanksgiving to join together at your fucking gravesite.
Just to say you did it.
And that's just not where I'm at. And like literally I'm watching this woman on Instagram. She's one of those Instagram famous people and all that other bullshit. And she just got COVID. And in 3 days, her ass has just been on videos. She on her way to Jesus. But she was at every party. She was at every gathering. She was having dinner every fucking weekend because that's what her family does. And now not only does she have it, but now her great grandmother got it from her. Now her grandmother got it from her. Now her son got it. Her big brother, all these people got it because your ass just had. I don't understand that level of attention.
Right.
So that's for her. That's what works for her. But they
you think?
Because my thing is that I want to see y'all motherfuckers next year.
Right.
I want to still be able to do some shit. I want to still be able to hang and drink and I'm talking about on a big level because a lot of people aren't having little small gatherings. I'm talking about these people that still having these big ass things.
Right.
Like this promoter just talked about some party in Baltimore. He's like, we had 2,500 people there. I'm like,
why?
It sounds like a
piece. Now
he's
on Instagram bitching about being closed down because he's like, oh, we should have got Trump and I'm for the guy without the mask. I'm like, nigga,
And
So it's
we not even
literally out here
looking at
putting
how
their
selfish we're
greed
being,
in front of it and everything.
trying to
So
be
I do
trying to
want to
get
see
a
y'all
bag.
motherfuckers. It's not just
I
not
just
like I just don't want to see y'all sick. I don't want to see anybody get. For me, who does have asthma and chronic lung issues, when you see somebody gasping for air, I know exactly what the fuck that feels like, and that's you literally will just stay up at night because you don't want to die in your sleep.
Yeah,
You
well,
don't
I
want that
know
type of
one.
fucking
doing that.
anxiety.
I just had
I've
that same conversation with my last guest on the show,
Mhm.
and everybody's trying to get back to work and do things normally, but it's a reason for everything. And I think we're in a season of being still and planning and preparing, and you don't have to be like always out. And I think a lot of us who are choosing to live our life indoors right now are getting a lot of slack from people, but it's we're being responsible because I may not get it, but I may carry it to someone else. So I couldn't imagine, trying to run to my grandmother's nursing home just so I can say I saw her and make a video and get her sick and she doesn't make it till next year. Like, I know death is inevitable and we don't know the time or the moment, but it's when you run into it, that's a problem.
What do you think that they should do with regards to people's financial situation? Because I think for a lot of individuals, that's what's really impacting them is the fact that there is no solution for them. So what do you think?
I think a big part of the financial thing, if we're talking just the financial piece of it, because my whole entire industry has been shut down.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing. If I go get a job somewhere else, then I may be able to get about 3 hours a week doing some Zoom trainings and shit. So for a person who is in a fucked up ass financial situation, I mean, right now it's literally been about saving, being very practical. I don't know. It's like this is not exactly a fucking normal time. You can't just say, "Oh, well, then I'm gonna go do this." Well, okay. Now I can say, "Well, I'm gonna go get this other job, do 12 hours a week," because these motherfucking jobs ain't really giving you a ton of hours because it ain't really a lot you can do.
Right.
And so now I go do these hours, and then 5 people got COVID. Now I got to run around and pray to Jesus with my ass on it. I ain't got time for this shit. So I don't know. I really don't know what to tell anybody to do. I don't know what the fuck to tell anybody how to plan their life, how to do any of that shit. All I'm saying is everybody think about your fucking health, think about everybody else's. Because you just don't want to go through that shit. You don't want to, I don't know. I thank God that I've had these horrific experiences in the hospital where I've been hanging on by a thread because maybe it gives me just a little bit more to fight for. But y'all don't want that shit. The shit ain't cool. You don't want to put it online. You ain't trying to get no fucking clout from being sick. Fuck that shit. You just don't want it. Being healthy is much better. I'm telling you.
Looking at it as like fear mongering, and it's so dumb. It's so simple, right? But a lot of people looking at it that way.
It's like it's considering your brother above yourself, basically. Like I had planned to do a gathering for me and my girlfriends, and I already had an RSVP list and everything because I already knew I only wanted a set number of people there. But now that the numbers are like escalating the way that they are, I'm even second guessing whether or not I want to do it anymore. Like as much as I want to see these ladies, like I don't know that I want to do it anymore because it's getting dangerous.
Yeah, I believe that. Well, I the way that it's looking, and I've always been a strong advocate for just shutting everything down because I just believe that because it's an airborne, and I've had bronchial pneumonia, so I know what it's like when your lungs lock. It's a very scary thing, and it did almost kill me. So I did experience that portion. And it's not something that you do want to play with. It's not something. It was walking pneumonia. It just developed. So I had these asthma-like effects, and my lungs would lock after I would go into these coughing fits. And eventually, one day, my lungs just locked completely and would not open up. So that's not something that you want to play with. But I do believe that because the way that it's being handled, I think it's being handled, and they're doing it the best that they can. They feel as though they're doing it the best that they can. So my kudos to them trying. I will say that people are trying. I just don't believe that with this type of virus that having mobility is the most prudent thing. I think making it where there is limited mobility, period, will contain it. And this is something that needs to be contained. Because
but not only that, I feel like each state needs to be across the board. Not I can, you live in Florida and Florida's still open, but then Georgia's closed.
Absolutely.
Like I don't think like I think that if everybody had a shutdown at one time instead of having it, up to the states on what they wanted to do. I just feel like if they had a stop movement for the whole country at one time and have everybody, just be indoors for that period of time, I think it would have slowed it a whole lot more than what it has been. Because I mean, you had some states that were still open up until the last minute, and then they closed down for like maybe 2 weeks or so, and the next thing you know, states were opening back up. So.
But there's an individual responsibility too, because we know what is necessary. But a lot of people, it felt like greed, like magnified so much throughout this, and people just had a need to make money and get the bag and just be out doing something. That we can blame the government for not having a better strategy, but we had to follow the rules. Look how many people were breaking the rules.
But I
still
think
having
that
parties and stuff.
It wasn't necessarily enforced. It was almost like it was an option.
You could shake ass in Harford County, but you couldn't shake ass in Baltimore City. So that's not even just a state by state. Even within the state, different counties had different rules.
Right, and I feel like that's big. That's part of the problem. I feel like
but a lot of it is greed. A lot of it is the fact that there is no plan, and that also a lot of it at the top of our leadership. It was being politicized. It's fake news. It ain't real. So you got there are people who I did not realize as intensely that they really take every word the president says as fucking gospel. Right. And they go by that shit. And then they die.
Well, I mean, you had a fucking
election night joint, everybody gets COVID in that
situation. People try to bleach situation, and that didn't work out for them too well.
Well, if you drink and bleach, you deserve it. I ain't got time for it. I mean, you go ahead and drink that bleach.
I agree. I was like, if you're that stupid to do certain shit, then you may need to just.
That's an evolutionary decision. Right. That is an evolutionary decision. That is a Darwin-made a moment.
Trying to
it's people who are just, it's just people determined not to do it. And even for me going across the street to the market, there have been a couple of situations where they are literally fighting with someone to keep them from coming in or trying to put them out. So I don't even go to the regular market. I get my groceries delivered now because I don't want to be in a situation where somebody not respecting just boundary, like basic rules. This. I
will say this though, it was kind of cute early on. The market was kind of like the turn up for.
It was the club. It was the club
but you just had people in the market wondering like, "What you buying?" I was just here yesterday. I don't even know. Everybody
and that was me.
Like,
that was me. Yep, I would definitely go over to Safeway and just literally go through aisle to aisle when I've never done that shit before. I always I want to get out. But it became a way to meet people or like say hi to people or run into somebody. But it damn sure was a turn up because you could tell how people were dressing for a minute. Like you ain't been dressed in a couple days now. And
you sit up in the frozen aisle with a fur coat on.
Right.
Nothing else.
I just wanted to.
I had that quick visual.
You looking like Martin when they won the lottery or whatnot. You in the food section.
I saw a lot of people dress like this, but I saw a lot of like provocative dressing, and you could tell it was just to entice somebody. Like none of the dudes was wearing underwear.
They shut down everything. They said, "I need to wear this someday."
Right. Most of the dudes wasn't wearing underwear. You saw a lot of titties swinging.
I was about to say, where that Safeway?
You know the Safeway up here in Charles Village, but you could just tell.
To stop by
and this was like around May, going into June, you people were just too much. It was overload. But you could tell how people was looking at each other and shit. Like this was
I'm telling you,
the
in March, it was the turn up. In April, people was wearing whatever the fuck they could find to put on. Because there was everybody in there was ragged and shit. Everybody's in their pajamas. Then in May, people was dressing up. It was like, well, I ain't put clothes on in so long.
Look, it was so bad. I hadn't put on clothes in so long. I forgot I had a dress. I had put on jeans that throw them away. I felt like I was wearing the same thing every day. Like I was like,
shit. If you was putting on clothes at all, because there was a couple weeks there in a period where I was like, maybe I should just put like something on, like
right.
You know, I know I live alone, but
did I take a bath today? Did I take a bath? What day is it?
My Aunt Karen told me, she gave me some good advice. She said, just one day put some jeans on just to see if you can still fit them.
Yes, God. Make sure you can
I was wearing elastic every day, and I said, if this elastic start getting tight, then we got a problem. But
so if question to the socialites, and yes, Muslima, I believe you. Welcome, thank you for joining us, Candace, Tamika, Muslima, and if you are following, by all means, join the group chat. We are at Be Exposed Radio. This is the Kocktail Social. These are the socialites, and we are having a conversation about the new rise in the coronavirus pandemic. And Muslima stated that it definitely would have slowed down a lot if they just shut things down. And that I agree. I think it would have, if it was a united front, if everyone was on the same page and doing the exact same thing. But like it was stated, everybody was doing different things. Question: If they stated that there was a vaccine, would you take it?
No,
not at all.
If they stated that there was a COVID-19 vaccine, would you take it?
No, not that first batch.
Why not?
Because it's not tested.
They haven't had enough time to really research it to see. I mean, most of the time vaccines take about 10 years or so to make. And so
Walmart. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I just read that. That was funny as shit.
I didn't even see it.
No, Candace said it was Club Walmart last night. It looked like a strip club.
I told you, like, that's what the market's starting to be now. Just look at people, how they look at you. Everybody making eye contact now and checking out people.
I'm like, girl, you know you want this sausage.
Sometimes people, I went to market and I speak to people, like, you know, just how you doing or whatever as I'm passing by.
That's
and it was like people
now.
were scared to open their mouth and talk. I was like, oh, okay. I just kept it on moving now.
So with that being said, if there was a vaccine, would you take it?
Negative.
I would, and not that, like I said, not that first batch, because like I said, it takes first of all, this vaccination has been kind of put on a rush. So I just feel like, you know, they're not, it's not, I feel like that first batch, they're not going to have all the kinks worked out.
Right.
And as you know, you cannot sue the vaccination companies. It was a rule put into play. I forget what year it was, some years ago, that you cannot sue the vaccination company. So if you take this first batch of vaccination and adverse reaction,
right.
to it, you can't sue them and say, oh, well, my loved one died because of this vaccination, or, you know,
I grew a third arm and shit. No.
Yeah, you can't. It's nothing you can do. You just be a 3-arm having person, and there's nothing that you can do.
Yeah, like you get the vaccine nowadays, you part of the phase 1 trials and shit. Like they gotta watch and see how this play out. They gotta see how it affects childbearing women, how it affects their children once they have them. If the children are born with antibodies,
how's it gonna affect you 20 years from now?
Right. It
was very irresponsible of Trump to like force them to rush. And now we know pharmaceutical companies, they're just trying to get the dollar. So they all trying to compete to who will get it first. And it's dangerous. And that's why I'm making a conscious decision, and it's gonna hurt me not to necessarily go back to the school system probably next year, because I don't want to be forced to do something that I don't believe in or that may harm me. And I'm not willing to sacrifice that even for a passion. So.
And at this point, I just feel like, you know, work on your immune system. You know what I mean? Work on getting healthy.
Undergird
You know what I mean? Whatever little things you can do that can help build up your immune system, do so. You know what I mean? Don't be out here, you know, eating all sorts of crazy stuff. And then, you know, not only are you gaining weight because you sitting at home, but then on top of that, you know what I'm saying? You putting yourself at risk to basically die.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Like Muslima said, yeah, it takes 10 years to make, 10 years to find out if it works, and 10 years to hear them quiet midnight commercials talking about the class action lawsuit.
Exactly. Exactly.
Who stated that?
Exactly.
Muslima.
And it's even, I think it's shorter than that now, because I know stuff that came out within like the last 5 or 6 years, they're already doing lawsuits on it.
Exactly.
You know, certain prep medication is now they trying to get you to do lawsuits, and that shit just came out in less than 5 years. So it's less than that now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm kind of torn on it. Because I get the one side and I agree with that. Then I also agree on the other side. I think that there's a spot in the middle though, where we have been sadly deprived of modernization in this country. You know, that we kind of still run everything on a very like low tech track. I mean, technology is growing, but we haven't expressed that to other people. So we don't. So the greater public has no idea how fast technology is growing around them, except for how fast their cell phone can go.
But our bodies have not changed.
I'm not talking about that. That's not what I'm going at right now. I'm talking about literally just the track of medicine, the track of how things are moving, how research is happening. Mm-hmm. And then I think that if all of that was actually a part of daily life, it was a part of it, like how when you see the Jetsons and people understand how things are working, then I think it would be easier to make more informed decisions instead of because a lot of shit is anecdotal. A lot of shit is very just like, oh, well, my cousin said this, or you have some random person who gets lifted up and they spout all this shit that, you know, that for real, somebody been saying forever, but now they become the go-to person. They have nothing to back up anything, but we turn away from the actual science of what's happening. Science is not always bad. Science is not always the enemy. Education is not bad. Education is not always the enemy. And this is a whole other argument. I do agree about your body's being natural, eating right, and all that other bullshit. I'm talking about that there's another argument with these vaccines where people are completely just misinformed, like altogether.
I think also what happens is that the term, you know, power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And I think with science, that is a prime example of what that looks like. And there's a degree of transparency that doesn't happen when people are doing when they are discussing and doing research about, you know, the vaccines and things of that nature. And that scares people on.
But that's why we need to vote. When they talk about privatizing science and deprivatizing the pharmaceutical company and all of that, that's literally what that's about. And then you have people who are fighting it. They're like, no, keep it private. For fucking what?
Exactly. And the reason I brought that up, because I'm torn. I recognize that there is some advances in science that could definitely be beneficial, but I also recognize, because science has been militarized, that people don't trust the individuals behind the science. They don't trust that they have the best interest of everyone, and not everyone operates that way. But when money is the primary focus, then people are like, okay, look, you're just trying to make $1, and you'll give me a sugar pill and say that this is going to cure cancer, but then I'm dying out here because I'm believing that this will work. Well, on the flip side, it may actually be the cure. You get what I'm saying? So, and I think that a part of that is this transparency. Like, if you're going this, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
When those people that's pushing those vaccines, like Bill Gates and the rest of them, start taking the vaccines first, then maybe I'll think about taking it. But if they're not going to take it first, I'm not taking it.
But
And
how
also
you know?
with transparency, people have to be adult about transparency because a lot of things are transparent, but nobody goes and looks and read it. Like simple shit, like tap water. You can literally go and read up on what's in your tap water, the levels that's going on for the day, what they checked on, if it's an issue, if there's any alerts. You can go do that every day, but is anybody doing it?
Right.
And then everybody's like, oh, well, nobody told me. But then I tell you about the shit and you still don't do it.
But it's blind, but it's blind trust. It's blind trust. And we went from an age of Pisces where you was just believing and you it was a age of believing. Now we're in an age of Aquarius where it's the age of knowing. And so now, you have, access to find out this information, but people have been dumbed down so damn much. They don't even know to go look for this. They don't even know to go look for it.
Or where to look for it.
I think some people don't even want to go look for it. Some motherfuckers, they just really want to argue.
I think they think about it.
There are some people who are literally just contrary, and those are the loudest people.
I agree.
I think a lot of people trust in government or outside resources or whatever, that we trust them. We trust that they're going to, make sure that the water that we're drinking is good. And we trust that the food that they're putting in the market is good for us and stuff like that. But in all actuality, like you said, when you put money over people's health, you're going to fail every time because you're making money off of people being sick. So how can you trust that you're not going to do something to deliberately get me sick so that you can make money off of me? Most doctors don't cure you. I don't give a shit what doctor you go to. They're not there to cure you. They're there to treat your symptoms. That is it. They're just to make you comfortable so that you can keep coming back and buying these drugs that's going to eventually make your ass more sick than what you was when you started out. Like I seen a commercial about growing eyelashes, right? And one of the side effects of growing the thicker, more beautiful, luxurious eyelashes was fucking blindness. So if you grow these eyelashes, now you might possibly go blind and not even see the effects that this particular medicine or whatever did.
But your eyelashes gonna be luscious, baby.
Yeah. But did you read the fine print? It's a possibility. That don't mean that you should go ahead and take that medication, get them luxurious eyelashes.
Like they had one medication that one of the side effects was diarrhea with fainting. So I'm like, okay, do you faint and then shit yourself, or do you shit yourself and then pass out? I mean,
I think it depends on. I think it depends on how much. You done shit yourself so much you do faint.
Right. Like
the side effects be worse than what the original illness is.
Like, how does that work?
No, but there's lots of places where you can go, like you said, Christy, if you take a chance and go and look for it, like you can find research papers on just about anything. And it's not just US papers, it's papers written by doctors outside the country. A lot of times other countries are way ahead of the United States. I don't know what that's about, where the United States won't take up some of the practices or some of the techniques and technologies of these other countries.
If they can't make money off of it, they're, like I said, they're not there to cure you. They're not there for that. They're there to treat your symptoms or whatever. If you get migraines, guess what? They're gonna give you a pill for the pain of a migraine, but it's not curing what's causing the migraine. So you're just taking something to suppress the feeling of it, but you're not fixing the problem itself.
Mm-hmm.
You have people like Dr. Stubby that cured stuff like AIDS, herpes, cancer, that type of stuff, but it's not mainstream that they don't put it out there mainstream. And then people like him all of a sudden just die mysteriously. Look how many holistic doctors have just mysteriously died.
Because it's more money in maintaining an illness than it is curing it. So they'll always work on, prolonging the inevitable versus, eradicating it and just getting rid of it altogether.
Changing the cocktail question. I think that was a wonderful discussion, y'all. What is the most important question to ask on a first date? What is the most important question to ask on a first date?
Are you single?
You gotta ask that. You gotta ask that before you get to the date nowadays.
Are you single?
Are you single?
What's
And
another
if they say yes,
That
the
is an
follow-up
important
question is
But I mean,
right. The follow-up question is, do they know that you're single?
You
And
ain't
that fucks them up for a minute because they be like, "What do you mean? What are you talking about?"
Yeah, right.
That bitch that you go home to every night, do they know you single?
Right.
And that normally, then they be
what if
like,
they're
yeah.
telling you the truth?
Yeah,
What
but
if
you,
they say they're
in today's world, the truth of being single is very much more rare than somebody just looking for extra, a plan A, B, or C.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute, Candace said the important question that you ask on a first date is, how big are you?
Oh, yes.
That
Lord.
should be the number one.
I don't know what it is, but
We can
most
work past
times
that other stuff.
questions about sex, I can't. If we initiate the conversation, I'll oblige you by having the conversation. But at that point, I've lost all interest because it's to me that tells me your interest only or is mostly in the area of sex, and that's
Well, then
really
there
down the
you
line
go.
for me.
All right, so somebody else said, is there anyone who would be upset if they knew you were out right now?
Mhm.
No.
That's that follow-up question. Do they know you single?
Oh, okay. That's okay.
That's
Gotcha.
when you ask them, are they single? And they're like, yeah. And then you follow up with, well, do they know that? And then that dumbass look that they got in their face to tell you everything you need to know.
Or they might be looking at you dumb because they just told you that they were single and you asked them, but do they know that? And they are actually single.
Okay.
What's another
question is, why me?
Huh?
Candace said, in all serious, the first question she asked is, why me? But why not?
I don't like that question. You know why? Because I was dating a guy and it made me feel like, you know what, you need to. Yeah, I do. And I enjoy it a lot. It's the fad in this side of town.
Oh.
In my neighborhood, it's a fad.
That east side.
What I was saying is that he kept asking like, why me? And I'm like, why not you? Like,
right.
What is it about you that would make you so unappealing to me?
That normally gives me the hint of insecurity.
Yeah, and I always think that you got like self-esteem issues. If I'm interested in you and I've expressed having attraction for you, then apparently I want you. I'm not. If I wanted your money, then the first thing I would say is, okay, how much money you do? Everything would be about money. But if I'm like, look, I want to spend time with you, I want to be intimate with you, I want to get to know you, then apparently I am attracted to you.
Well, so maybe the question, maybe it's just a shorter way to ask, what is it about me that attracted me to you? Maybe that's just a shorter way to ask that question.
A lot of these questions normally tell me what you're used to getting and who you're used to being with. So that normally is a red flag to me also, because that means you've gone through this in a cycle. So what will be your reaction? Will you believe that I am who I say I am?
Mm-hmm. When I was out there, my question was, what is your purpose in dating? Like, what are you out here dating for? Is it for companionship? Are you looking for marriage? You just trying to, have a fuck buddy? Like, what we doing? Not us in general, but what are you trying to do?
So if they told you that they just wanted you for a fuck buddy, would you be okay with that?
If that's what I was into at the time, sure.
Mm-hmm. See, that's
but if that's not where I was, then we can stop. We can enjoy our meal and go, or I can take mine and go right now.
Right. I know one of my questions that I try to ask a lot, and it's based on my experience. Are you working right now? Now, It doesn't mean that I'm not going to talk to you if you're not working, but it normally lets me know what your intentions are.
Mhm.
And for me, it's always like, especially like the first couple of dates is always a 50-50 thing because I want to see how much you are invested in this versus how much I'm invested in this, and it has to be somewhat equal. And I don't want to take care of anybody, so I want to know that even if you're not working, how are you taking care of yourself? You know, that's important to me because if this does work, I don't want to be anybody's caretaker. So that's normally one of the questions I always ask, and I follow that up with, it doesn't mean that if you're not working, you know, because sometimes people lie, but I think that's for me, based on my experiences, that's an important question for me to ask.
I always ask, like, do you have any children?
Yeah.
I always want to know if they have any children.
Do you have any?
Because
how many? How old?
To me,
yeah. How many baby mamas?
And my follow-up question to that is, when they say no, or they say they got one or two, or I mean, you ask them how many are you claiming, and then
right.
I always have a good follow-up question because sometimes people be finagling the truth and shit. Well, I got three.
And what is your relationship like with your children's mother?
Yes, Joe. Yes, Lord.
That matters.
Shit, you got to ask them what their relationship like with the child. Because you got a lot of sperm donors.
That is very important to me. Now, honestly, that's very important to me. I am one, if you have children and you're not active in your child's life, that is a big turn off to me. And I will be like, okay, well, you can't have a conversation until you start showing up for your child, whoever, how many. That's a big thing for me. But I do ask that question only because I don't like drama. I don't want any of that. Don't have my child around. I need, if you are trying to work out some things, I need you to go ahead on and communicate and deal with that before you start going out and trying to involve another person in your situation. So, that's an important question. But you know what? I honestly think that people don't date anymore. So that I think people just jump right into, if we fuck, we go together. And I've always been one that just because we had sex, that don't mean we're together.
I don't even think they're happenstance. Well, they just happen to be I think it just happens because nobody, you know, even I tried some of the dating apps, and my frustration is everybody thinks dating now is a ploy to get sex. So let's chill at home, or let's do something. No, like I need to see you outside of my residence.
I need to see how you gonna eat at the table if we at a restaurant.
So I need to see I need to see you go for that wallet when the bill comes. I need to see what that look like. Is this gonna be?
You just gotta offer. Because another thing too, and also I need to see how you conduct yourself. Like another turn off for me, and is when you are too amped up for no reason. So it's like if you are
you dealt with a lot of crackheads, huh?
Hey, my man.
You done dealt with a lot of crackheads, huh?
No. I just dealt with a lot of people from the inner city, and those individuals, you know, they just yelling and just being extra. Yeah. What's up?
I can take ghetto, but you have to have some couth about yourself. Like when we're inside, bring your fucking volume down.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Well, again, that if you go out to a restaurant and you be able to tell as soon as you walk in the door.
Yeah.
Because they start looking all up in the ceiling and feeling on the drapes and all that stuff, you know they ain't used to shit.
you just getting home?
No, wait.
Oh, we eating
I'm about to say
off of real plates. They said we eating off of real plates.
What if they do that at a restaurant? What if they do it at McDonald's? They go into McDonald's and they start feeling on shit. Ooh, this is nice. Yeah. What kind of furniture is this? That's when you know you can't.
I'm about what's that? I don't like that.
See, for me, even on the first day, I don't even like doing anything that's costly. Maybe, maybe like the stable or, maybe a movie or something. I don't even like doing anything that's going to cost anything.
Movies ain't cheap no more. Shoot, by the time you buy the tickets and the and the popcorn and all that other stuff, you might be spending like at least $50-$60.
For sure.
But people don't want to date anymore. I'm not gonna say everybody, because I think the ones of us that's on here, we're open to it if we're not already in a relationship. But there's a lot of people that the idea of dating is so like let's just go home and chill.
You gotta interview a lot of frogs in the dating world nowadays. Like when I was on that date app, but I decided how I wanted to date, and I wanted to date. So I invited this guy.
I need to interview you on your own, because that app, I never heard nobody say nothing good. You are the only, literally.
I met him on the way off the app. I promise you, I was on my way off. But I got this guy. We went out. I told him I wanted to go to the sushi spot. We get out there, and he was clueless. Like, it's fine if you've never had sushi. It's fine if that's not been your experience. I'm open to, experiencing new experiences with you, whatever. But if everything is just like, oh, gee willikers, this is amazing. Like, oh my God.
First of all, they say G Willikers. That's a red flag.
That was the vibe he was giving. Like,
that's the side.
Wow. I don't know nothing about this. Oh wow. Oh
girl and boy, this rice and fish.
Oh, wow. Like I couldn't do it no more. Like, I'm too old to be teaching. I'm gonna leave you for somebody that's more your speed. Yeah, right. Like, I need somebody that's more my speed. And I think for anybody who may be watching or listening or whatever, like, it's okay to decide that you want somebody your speed. You're not looking down on nobody. You're not being uppity. None of that. You just deciding what you want for yourself.
And it's okay. And I think a lot of us have been kind of bashed for wanting what we want. Like, I want somebody who appreciates the art. Even if you're not an artist, if you've never been to a play, you got to have an open mind, because that's my life. And if you're not willing to open yourself up, and I've dated people that was like, man, that ain't my thing. Well,
dessert.
I ain't your thing, because this ain't gonna work.
Wait a minute. Why Candace gonna say she had a boyfriend who did nothing but date to McDonald's, and when she broke up with him, he asked her for 2 years worth of McDonald's?
Oh wow. Well, Candace,
I had some people. I had someone say the same thing, that they was with someone, and when they broke up, they had a ledger of all of the things that they had brought them, and so they was like, "Well, give it all back." So they were like had taken them to Hawaii and some other places, and then it was like, after they broke up, because they were like, "Okay, you owe me for the trip," and the individual was like, "How is it that I owe you when I didn't even ask you to go there?"
But see, in those situations, you have to be the one to say, "Hey, that's too much right now. We don't really have that strong of a commitment," because there are a lot of people who still are going out on dates for free dinner and like being wined and dined. But that comes with a cost, because there are expectations behind those gifts and those luxuries. So, you have to be prepared to say, you know what? Even if you do go, pay your own way. Don't let them pay your way, because that's an expectation.
Come on,
you don't know how you testing yourself.
Trip to Hawaii is one thing, but then there's a whole nother something. If you treating, I'm eating.
Yeah, but I'm a person that there's a point in that some people know there's nothing going on between me and this person, and they still go out to dinner. There's some people like me. I know what's in the first couple moments, whether I'm gonna be able to deal with this or not. It may be me, it may be them. I know. So when those situations, I'm gonna pull out my card and be like, no, let's just go ahead on this. But there are people who are still winding and dining for a meal. Those struggle dates, those survival dates. And don't get me wrong, I dated a lot of slippery earls, and I would definitely, especially in college, if that Fridays was across from in Mondawmin when I was at Coppin, they would have knew my name. I would have had my own booth in it.
You said you dated a lot of slippery earls.
You know the age range of the age range.
Yeah. I know.
They like to feed you. They like to feed you. They think that's
Cab drivers. I got you.
Right.
Cab drivers. Oh yeah. They got slippery earls on with sweatpants.
Right.
Mr. Terry, you know.
They wear dress socks on Saturdays. Yeah. Yeah.
Mr. James.
Right.
I think we all been there.
But that was a youthful ignorance. But when you start getting around, some of our ages, you start, it's survival. And if you still on that survival mode, know what you're getting yourself into. And I've been treated on vacation.
But
before.
Isn't that what dating is all about? It's kind of like you fishing. You're not always going to.
After a month, that's not dating. That's setting you up for what they want. And you gotta be, if you're not looking for anything beyond that, it's gonna be some issues when you come back from that trip and you ain't on them terms with that person. Cause they was like, bitch, I just took you to fucking Jamaica. What the fuck is your problem? And now you got this aggressive situation because you just played with this person.
I'm not going out of the country with anybody that I don't like that well. I don't care. Like, to me, I think a lot of times people try to throw money, like I've had, people like, oh, I can buy you this, I can buy you that, and this and the other. And it's like, I'm not impressed.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because anything that you offer me, either I can get it for myself, and if not, and you're somebody that I don't like, I'm not going out of the country with you. Like, I'm just not doing it. Because if I don't like you here, I'm not gonna like you in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
But it's people out there that's getting what they can get while they can get it.
And they be the ones that end up in. I mean, Lord forbid, but they be the ones that end up in a little gully somewhere. Yeah. And people tell
they be the ones stuck in Jamaica.
You play with somebody's feelings.
Yeah.
Don't play with people's feelings.
I just was watching.
But you know what? I think,
and they were talking about that, and the guy said he took the girl to, I think they went to Hawaii, and she got there and she started acting real funny, like she didn't want to have sex and she didn't want to, and that's the conversation that got him to want to take her there, like fulfilling something she never did before. He said he changed that room and told them people, do not give her no ticket to my room, and he ended up finishing his trip, going home, and she had to figure out how to get home. And I was like, ooh, girl, that's why you gotta buy your own ticket. You gotta have your own money when you go.
But my thing is,
Hawaii ain't a bad place to be left, but at the same time,
it ain't a good place to be left.
You ain't got no money, right? If you ain't got no money, you ain't got no money.
Why?
She had to call home.
That's she messed up at.
Right. She had to call home to get money to stay there.
You going out with somebody, you supposed to have your own money, because I've had a guy when I was in college invite both my roommate and my another friend of ours out for dinner. Now he invited us. Now when you invite somebody out, that means you're paying, and if you're not paying, you need to specify that before we get out. So we goes out. We goes out. Order our food, everybody ate this and the other. The bill came. This dude was like, I had the lemonade, so he was trying to get the bill so he could get his stuff off of there to figure out what he ordered.
That's a good way of getting
after you invited everybody out.
I hate it.
And my rule is, when I'm out with certain groups of people, period, or I'm out with somebody who I don't see me going any further with this person, I always, hey, how you doing? So can you put this on a separate bill? Up front, even if I was asked to come out. Can you put this on a separate tab? Thank you. And just carry on with the conversation. Mm-hmm. So you do what? Okay. Mm-hmm. So they know what the deal is, and it's not an expectation. Mm-hmm. That happened to me. And when I tell you, one time was all I needed. I had to call home to get my mother to put money in my account.
Now, I was raised by old school. My uncles are old school pimps in my mind, and so that way, if I invite you out, in their mind too. But if I invite you out, my intent is to pay. as I invite you out. You know, if we say we're going out someplace.
And another thing, when you go, like, I'm the type of person too, like, just because you paying, that don't mean I'm gonna order the most expensive thing on the menu just because I know you paying.
Right.
Now, if you say get what you want and you really mean get what you want, then I'm gonna get what I want. But I'm not, you know, you got some people that be like, oh, they paying. So now all of a sudden you eating lobster and steak and all this other stuff.
Buy shit you could never afford.
Yeah, that you couldn't
afford. Can I get that crab imperial, please?
I like the crab emperor. I want the crab emperor.
Emperor.
That crab empire. Can I? I want to try
and
that.
Let me get a glass of Max.
And what's that?
Molat. Can I get some of that Melat?
Chianti.
But we all know those people though. We all know those people who are still doing that. I've never agreed with that. I would say, well, it was a little small period where that's what I was about because I was in college. But other than that, I would have enough for me. If the tables got turned somehow or the rug was flipped underneath for me, I would always have enough to pay for what I got. But
my grandmother always told me have enough to get your ass home.
Yes.
And have enough to get home and have enough to feed yourself. Don't eat beyond what's in your pocket. So if you only got $20 and don't you order that damn $50 lobster and you know damn well you only got $20, you better go to that motherfucking appetizer menu and eat what's on that appetizer. You better get you some chicken fingers and fries. Don't you? So she was
I'm gonna just have some onion rings.
That's it.
I'm
watching my figure. I want the house salad.
You got some? Can I get some hot tea and a cup of ice, please?
That's it. You got to know your limit.
No, you just get water with a bunch of make your own lemonade at the table.
This is funny.
No, this is I'm eating green now, so I'm trying to be,
Candace said, "Can I get a number 9 with 2 apple pies and a peach tea?"
That's Candace knew how much money she had in her pocket at that moment. So that's that confident ordering.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm good.
She like, I get this every week. It's $9.84.
Like that. That's why even when I would go out on dates, if somebody offered me a date, I'll always tell them go to a restaurant that was like a nice atmosphere, but wasn't gonna break the pockets because I never wanted to be that person that was just eating away at somebody's pockets.
Yeah. That was the question. We got time for maybe 1 or 2 more questions. Anybody got a question a topic they want to talk about? No.
I think I have a question. A question. So if you're with someone, and I did a show last night, and this was the topic we brought up. So if you are having sex with somebody and it's horrible, whether you like them or not, and it's horrible, do you tell that person in that moment, or do you tell them at all, or you just chalk it up to a bad experience?
I tell them.
In that moment?
It depends. It depends.
I'm about to say, I think last week we talked about this, and I told you that one situation I could sit on a back and you kept it moving. But
wait,
I can't. I need you to put that story in a bottle.
I don't give a fuck about that story. It is what it is.
Because that spit with a back shit.
But that was literally what happened, and it was bad. It was loose. It was disgusting, and I ain't like it. And I just wanted to leave. But,
you spit on her back.
I've had some bad experiences, and I just never went back.
If I like you, I tell you. I modify my. If I like you, I tell you.
That's different.
If I like you, I tell you, because I'm gonna tell you.
You should be liking anybody that you going there with. Like if you having sex with them, at that point you have to like them at least a little bit.
I mean a little bit, but it depends on if I see a if I'm saying, when I say if I like you, I'm saying I'm want to invest more time into you. So if I'm intending on being there for a little bit longer, then and for me, what's bad sex may not be the same with bad sex for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, bad sex is a lack of intimacy, and that's when I will let you know, like, okay, I don't like that. And sometimes I've gotten a little bit better with tact, because before, I know I used to be kind of harsh, and I was like, yo, that's some elementary shit that you just did, and you fuck like you was a virgin. So
trash.
But then I had to modify that, because honestly, I think a lot of people, they don't have nobody to really school them. And intimacy, like having sex, is a really, really vulnerable thing. It's very traumatic, actually. So when you don't know that, you'll get around there and you may damage them for the rest of their life with your response or lack of response. You get what I'm saying? So it's like you gotta be sensitive about how you approach that situation. But me, if I really, really jam off with you, I'm gonna let you know. But if I really feel like I'm never gonna see you again and I'm never gonna do this again, I'm gonna just go ahead and take it as an L and just be like,
why waste your time? They thought something was wrong with me. I'm not gonna go through with something that's not fulfilling to me. That's, I don't care how long it is or how short. I gotta stop, because it's not. I'm about to fall asleep.
I feel like if they don't have the tools, if they don't have the proper tools for the job, like sometimes you have people that have the proper tools, but they don't really know how to use them. And then you have some people who just don't have the tool at all.
When you say tools, are you speaking of a hammer and a pickaxe?
And whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to call it.
Other means to pleasure, like, come on, guys, like there are other means to pleasure, and it depends. I think you have to kind of examine what about it makes it not pleasurable to you. Like, is it?
If you don't go to
rabbit humping, is not good.
Somebody spit on my back. That shit I pleasure.
Okay, but then you gotta say that, like, hey, listen,
that's me.
That's not my thing.
That's probably why it happened.
Right. So, I mean, you got to be able to have the conversation to say that don't get me off, but this does.
Like Bleu said, like sometimes, like for me, it takes a lot for me to even want to do it. So if I'm there and it's just boring and dry and uninteresting, I'm gonna say, go call Kay. Maybe she'll have something in her book for you, but I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not, and especially if you're not willing to learn or understand that this is a shared experience. It's not one-sided.
Right.
I'm out.
Now I think you make a valid point. Like if they aren't open to receiving, you can kick rocks and blow bubbles, but
some people they think they the shit, and you like.
That's what Candace said. She said. Candace said that's why a lot of men are walking around mad, because you got women lying and not saying nothing at all.
Yeah.
And the same thing it's the vice versa, because it's a lot of females thinking it's a lot of women out here think they got good wop and they got that motherfucking sandpaper between their legs, and they
got that quicksand.
It's a whole lot of fucking women that think that sex is only about if the dick is good. Not worrying, and they just want to lay there thinking that their pussy just gonna do all the work. Just put it in and go off.
That's what you call a pillow princess. That's a pillow princess.
And there's a whole lot of lazy ass pussy running around this city. I'm telling you.
They pillow princesses.
Yeah. And
I gotta go. We could be cool if we were cool before, but we're not doing this again.
Over it.com.
That's a lot of energy that you putting into somebody, even if you're not in a relationship with them. That's a lot of energy, and if they're not willing to learn or nobody's ever told them, that's like you might as well just go start messing with virgins.
One night stand, like you're not really trying to. It ain't even. I mean, yes, energy, spirit, Aquarius, moons, and stars. Well, if this shit is just a one night stand, y'all met somewhere and just decided to fuck off real quick because y'all both wanted that nut, and then it just ended up being bad. I think that was where I was thinking of it. If you're gonna tell them, because if you're really sharing some shit with somebody and you love them or you like them or whatever the fuck, you will tell them. But if it's just a nut, then You just getting out of there like, all right, ain't gonna go down that road again.
Now, also, you know what, Jonathan? Another time I will tell you is if I'm trying to bust your fucking bubble. Like if you arrogant and you went in there like you was the shit,
and you cocky as a
and then you
motherfucker,
came out there.
If that's bad pussy, then
Yeah.
100 Blue. 100.
Especially that one that was talking all that shit all this time, and I'm a tear the fur off of that shit.
Yeah,
those types of people.
Had that happen.
Everybody is a porn
then they
star.
was over there sucking their thumb before 5 minutes in. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Or
take care of everybody a porn star.
Everybody's a porn star.
Everybody, yep.
And they pull out that bullshit, and then they bust real quick, and then they done. That one and done, and I mean really done. Like
I ain't going back to that.
And you haven't even started sweating yet. You like, what's you alright?
You
And on back
you looking like Whitney Houston and fucking wedding accent.
This nigga growling like it's shit going on. Nigga, I still feel it's chilly in here to be right now. What the fuck is going on?
I'm telling you, what the worst shit is when a chick talk about she gonna ride dick, she gonna ride, and then get up there and it's like, what the fuck are you doing?
She needs training wheels and shit.
And then talking about I'm tired.
She keep kneeing you on your side.
Oh, we gotta go. So I'm giving homework. Everybody go home and look up tantric sex. The end.
Isn't it the best?
Look up what?
That's real
sex
shit.
it is.
Tantric sex is the best.
But there's a lot of dummies out here though, so you got to be able to have mind control.
That's homework for everybody because we really gotta go.
Yeah, it is a wrap.
It's a
yeah. Oh, mother is speaking. Yeah, mother is.
Yeah,
mother,
she gonna put us out. That's all right.
Mother is beckoning us to end. And so to my kit and cats out in Facebook land, this is the Kocktail Social. I'm your host, Blue Waters. These are the socialites. This is Be Exposed Radio, and I hope you join us next week for another fun-filled Kocktail Social. See you then.
Good
Are
day.
you okay now, mother?
Mother trying to cartwheel to her pig. Y'all need to keep mother alone. Mother tired.
Mother ain't did nothing. What about the time for? Oh, that's what my mother. You've been out there. You've been dropping that. You've been dropping that mother on somebody.
Throwing that wop around.
Dropping their mother on somebody.
No, it's called WAD.